There are so many things I wish I knew when I first got my Cricut machine. I believe that those things would have really made a difference in my journey as a Cricut crafter. For example, I would have moved faster from just being a beginner to being a semi-professional Cricut crafter, or I would have moved faster from using my Cricut machine just as a hobby to actually using it as a money-making machine. So I'm just going to take you through the 5 important things I wish I had known when I first got a Cricut machine. So the first thing I wish I knew is that you don't have to use just the Cricut branded materials when you're using your Cricut machine. The Cricut machine is way more than just a die cutting machine. I think when you first begin, you buy the machine to use it for a specific thing, and yet the Cricut machine can do so many things than just cutting vinyl. It can, for example, the Cricut Explorer Air 2 can cut 100 different materials, and so the Cricut machine is such a powerful tool which does more than cut vinyl. It can cut craft paper to make different paper projects. You can cut permanent adhesive vinyl to personalize cups, wine tumblers. You can cut heat transfer vinyl, or as Cricut call it, iron-on vinyl, to decorate t-shirts and different apparel, like even tote bags. So there's so many things you can do with the Cricut machine. But one thing I didn't know is that I'm not limited to just using the Cricut branded materials. You can use other brands of materials. So for example, if you're talking about permanent adhesive vinyl, you can definitely use other brands. Like for example, my favorite heat transfer vinyl is the Caesar brand vinyl, or HTV Ront. So there are different brands of vinyl that you can use with your Cricut machine. So don't just limit yourself to use just the Cricut branded materials. The other thing I wish I knew as a Cricut beginner is that the transfer tape you use, for example, for me, I started with using mainly permanent adhesive vinyl, and in the early days I thought, I've got the Cricut transfer tape which I used at that time, and I would just use it once and throw it out into the bin. But I realized that the transfer tape is reusable, so you can use transfer tape as many times as you want, provided it's still sticky, so you can use it and save it for the next project, which means you can use that transfer tape over and over again and you get great value for your money. The other thing I wish I knew as a Cricut beginner is that you don't need every single tool that they're selling. So one thing I did when I first got my Cricut Joy about 2 years ago, I just got the bundle. So I got all the vinyls, and I wasn't even sure what I wanted to use my Cricut machine for at that time. Really, I just wanted to personalize some wine tumblers for my co-workers at work, and so I actually didn't need all the materials that I got as part of that bundle. What you really need as a beginner are the basics. So for example, if you're going to be using iron-on vinyl or permanent adhesive vinyl, that's what you need: the vinyl. You need a weeding tool, you'll need the scraping tool, you'll need your Cricut mat. Not all the mats. So Cricut have about 4 different mats: the blue mat, the green mat, the pink mat, the purple mat, and you don't need to use all those mats right at the beginning. Actually, in the box when you first get your Cricut machine, they give you the first Cricut mat, and I used that for months and months. But I had also got the extra Cricut mats just in the bundle that I got from my local shop. So the other things, you'll start to buy other tools as you go on, but the basic ones are the ones that I've just mentioned there. Number 4, you don't have to spend money up front to buy blanks. So when I say blanks, I mean, you know, like the blank t-shirt or the blank cup or tumbler or the blank tote bag. What I mean is you don't have to spend money up front and buy all that and have it. You can definitely just start by using products or empty glass jars that you have around the house. You can practice using your Cricut machine by personalizing notebooks. Notebooks are actually good because it's a flat surface. So if you were practicing with your permanent adhesive vinyl, you're just practicing to place the vinyl on that flat surface, and as you get better and better at that, then you can buy more notebooks and get inventory. But I'm just saying, you can pick a notebook from your bookshelf, a notebook you use every day, and practice placing the vinyl on that. Or for example, I love these empty glass jars. Like after we've used the coffee, use those glass jars and label them and just get used to the whole process from beginning to end before you splash out and buy lots of inventory that you might just keep stored up in your garage for months and months on end. So first practice with plain materials that you can find around the house. That's a really good tip that I wish I'd known in the beginning. As you start as a Cricut beginner, if you're thinking of making money with your Cricut machine, you could do things like just selling the vinyl decals. So I do a lot of that on my Etsy shop, where I'm just basically selling the label, the decal, and the customer then irons that onto their shirt themselves. This is mainly for people who just want a one-off t-shirt for their sports team, or a one-off t-shirt for a birthday or something, and they just want to iron that on themselves. So I sell just vinyl decals, and as I started as a Cricut crafter, that's what I sold, because vinyl decals are light, so they're cheaper to ship. You don't have to pay so much for shipping. And then as I moved on from that, I started to make other products. So it's really up to you, but I just thought these 5 things really helped me out so that I wasn't spending a lot of money on the onset. I got used to using my Cricut machine and found out all the different things it could do, and then I just stepped up and grew from there. So I hope that these 5 things really help you out as you start your journey as a Cricut crafter. Thank you. If you like the type of information I'm sharing on this channel, be sure to leave me a like or a subscribe. That really helps me out. Thank you.